Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is CatZ Pajamas with HD, and we are finally broadcasting IPL Season 3 qualifiers. Pleasure to be casting with you as always.
Yeah, the pleasure is all mine, CatZ Pajamas. I'm so excited as well to be casting IPL 3 qualifiers. It's the first day of IPL 3 action. Everybody's been waiting to see how the story is going to unfold ever since we announced Atlantic City a couple of weeks ago. So here we are. It's IPL 3 action, and guess what? It's going to be Complexity Cats versus BabyKnight.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a pretty good matchup for you guys. Complexity Cats, as we like to say, one of those very inventive, very creative Zerg players, can go one base muter and fester on you when you're just not expecting it at all.
You can even pull 4 drones at you and start to attack your SCVs.
Which is always fun to watch. I love that whenever he does the 4 drone harass. So we have him, and then in the top right-hand corner as our blue Protoss player, we have Navi BabyKnight. Now, BabyKnight is actually a regular viewer of IPL, so it was really cool to see him sign up for it. Great Denmark player, and so there we go, and he sent in some replays to us, so nice to see him on the big stage.
Yeah, I remember casting a lot of games from BabyKnight. He's a pretty cool guy. He's had some great games that we've casted already, so I'm looking forward to seeing a pretty interesting one here on Xel'Naga Caverns. And speaking about the map, this is a map that's actually really hard for Zerg to 15 hatch on, and most of the time these days, most Zergs do not 15 hatch against Protoss. So yeah, especially on this map, I think it's a wise idea for CatZ to get that pull down first and then go for the hatchery later. Although he's got 15, he's got 300 minerals saved up, and he just threw the hatchery down on 15 supply. And BabyKnight's probe actually came out pretty late, so he didn't get a chance to block that.
Yeah, so that actually could work to CatZ's favor, especially if he gets the pull out after that and then double queens and a few Zerglings. He should be pretty well defended.
Yeah, well, now that the hatchery has gone down, he won't have to worry about any pylons or any weird stuff like that. He doesn't have to worry about the pylon wall at the lower end of the ramp simply because there's a supply depot there now in the IPL version of the map. The one thing he does kind of have to worry about is mass cannons and a forge being built inside BabyKnight's main, and then cannons being built around the hatchery, although we don't see a forge coming up, so I don't think we're going to see the cannon kind of harass style, which is actually really effective against that 15 hatch.
And we'll see if CatZ is able to get a block here with this drone on any further structures going down. I have actually seen a few Protoss players do this lately where they don't start with the wall right away. They actually drop down their second gateway down there eventually. Yeah,
it's really interesting. I've been trying to think about that and what advantages it gives you. And short of the probe, getting a little bit distance time or a little bit less time to travel to build the gateway at the front door, I don't really know. And so I don't really know why Protosses are kind of building the first gateway inside the main, because it kind of causes a potential problem if the Zerg tries to barrel through the front.
Yeah, certainly. And CatZ is being as pesky as possible with this drone. Catches that Zealot out of position a little bit, then scoots on in as the Zealot makes its way down here. Don't know if it's just going to take map control or if it's actually going to try and do some damage.
I think it's probably going to go out there and try to do a little bit of a poke and pull and see what it can do. And it's just good play in general. Send that Zealot out. You don't necessarily, if you're not going to focus on the wall off in the beginning, then why have that Zealot at the front anyways? You might as well send it out and try to do something with it.
And there is that second gateway we were referring to before. We'll see if BabyKnight decides to put down a third, or if he's just going to try and expand behind what he has after a little bit of poking with maybe a Stalker behind this as well. And 6 Zerglings are making their way up. Looks like BabyKnight is going to stand in and engage, in danger of losing that Zealot, unfortunately. Looks like it will go down. So far, BabyKnight has only killed 2 Zerglings, so he hasn't made up that difference yet. There we go. A third goes down, but unfortunately his Stalker is coming under fire, and that's going to have to retreat.
And really nice by CatZ here, CatZ Pajamas, the fact that he hasn't, CatZ did not overproduce in Zerglings, even though that Zealot and the Stalker came, he was still producing drones in the background. Look, he's only got 3 Zerglings out, and most lower Zergs would have made maybe 10 or 12 Zerglings right now just to combat a very small threat. So it's really intelligent play right there from CatZ to not overproduce and not go into red alert crisis mode when it's all good and gravy.
And BabyKnight did decide to expand behind that. It looks actually 2 gates plus Twilight Council. So very interesting. Dumped a little bit of gas into sentries, but didn't overproduce those. So we had a little bit of money left over. And wow, like you're just saying, following this up with the Dark Shrine, pretty risky play, because if CatZ decides to do some sort of big all in or something like that, he'd be really far behind on units. But if he can pull it off, those DTs can pay for themselves in a big way.
Yeah, and CatZ here does see the Nexus going up here, and he saw that there's not really that many forces out on the map. Look, he saw those units coming out with his Zerglings he's got. So CatZ right here could go for some kind of a Roachling bust all in, which is very hard for Protoss to hold on a map like Xel'Naga Caverns because the natural is so exposed. If CatZ can hit those Roaches and Lings in, and I'm just theorizing here, if he can, then he may be able to get it in before the Dark Templars come into play, and he could win the game outright. However, as it stands, BabyK will probably get those DTs in time, and actually CatZ is building Spore Crawlers. I wonder if he saw that Dark Shrine.
That's actually a very good question. Let me go ahead and take a look at his vision real quick. We'll zip back up here to the top. He did.
Very
so
smart.
he knows the Dark Shrine is coming up, so those DTs aren't really going to pose much of a threat as DTs themselves. Certainly they're going to be pesky. He can split them up, send them to different expansions, cause CatZ to maybe maneuver some units back. But,
yeah, absolutely.
At the very least, he was so far done with the Dark Shrine, though, you might as well let it finish, and then that can be your basis for Archons later on if you decide to move into Charge Light Archon.
Yeah, you can. You can make Archons out of Dark Templars. It's a little bit different in terms of what minerals and gas you invest with. The High Templar costing more gas, so if you're a little more mineral heavy, you can make Archons. But here comes the Dark Templar, and they are going to make their way into the natural expansion, and CatZ does have a Spore Spine combination set up. I love how he's got a Spore in the mineral line and a Spore covering the ramp along with the Spine Crawler, and he's leaving forces there to prevent the Dark Templar from running in. However, he catches one DT in transition. Very nice play, and now BabyKnight only has one Dark Templar left.
And it looks like he tried to get into the main, isn't going to do so. All of these Zerglings are trying to trap the unit once again, but they would all get slaughtered because there's no Overseer around. But here we go. BabyKnight actually only on 3 gates still.
Kind of a DT expand here from BabyKnight, actually, is what we're looking at right now, which has become a little bit more popularized as of late, especially against Zerg, when Protoss go for the Dark Shrine right away off of one base, and then they expand once the Dark Shrine is building. And it's a very powerful way to expand because you force a Zerg to overcommit drones into Spore Crawlers, static defense, Overseers. They have to rush for lair to get that Overseer out, and the drones that the Zerg player has available to them isn't quite as much when the Protoss player opens up with the Dark Templar.
And Infestation Pit following this for CatZ, so 2-base Infestation Pit, no big surprise there. It is CatZ we're talking about. We also have the Roachborn following this up as well, but it does look like he has the intention to expand after this. A nicely placed Dark Templar there.
Yeah.
Going to go ahead and prevent the construction of that hatchery for quite a while, though.
That's another thing about those DTs is you can kind of leave them as observers with an attack. Literally, they're observers on the ground that have a very powerful attack, and it can prevent the hatchery from going up. It can slice and dice units that are moving across the map as well. And wow, look at this. We have a lot of gateways coming up with the robotics facility. So I guess BabyKnight is just transitioning, sort of throwing on more production facilities, getting himself ready for the macro game.
And CatZ does see the Dark Templar sitting over the Xel'Naga Tower. He's going to go take care of that.
Yeah.
Manages to get 3 kills, but that's certainly not enough to justify its cost alone. But if he can deny this base over and over again, it looks like he already has killed one drone, or maybe a Zergling that was being sent out to investigate, and it looks like he's going to move in
Sherlock
with these Zerglings
Holmes
afterwards.
with the pipe.
Yes, this Dark Templar has a has a nice stovetop hat.
The Dark Templar is the murderer. The Zerglings were the Sherlock Holmes. Quite indubitably. So the Dark Templar finally goes down there, but we have an impending attack here from BabyKnight. He has got a lot of Stalkers, a lot of Sentries, a couple of Dark Templars mixed into that group as well, and he could move out and do some damage. He will encounter the Spore Spine Crawler wall, though, from CatZ, who is now uprooting his Spores and Spines, or at least building some new Spores and Spines at the Gold expansion. So really smart play. CatZ covering all bases and making sure those assassinators don't come in and give him a bad day.
Assassinators indeed. And I really like his creep coverage, actually.
It's
12 minutes into the game. Now, not that BabyKnight has come in and denied any of these creep tubers, don't get me wrong, but CatZ has still done a really great job at making sure that the entire map and all attack paths are covered. And here comes BabyKnight. He's going to move in at the same time that CatZ was moving some Lings around the back of his opponent's third. But BabyKnight makes his way in. He does take out the Spore Crawler first. Fungal goes down, though, keeping a lot of units in place.
Yeah, that Fungal actually gave CatZ an opportunity to engage, but I think CatZ thought a little bit better of it, decided that he would wait for a better spot. However, the shields right now are somewhat depleted, so BabyKnight's forces aren't exactly at 100% capacity. BabyKnight is making an Archon right now, and you were talking about that before. Dark Templars can make Archons. It's a little bit less gas intensive, and it's an interesting way, of course, to warp in those DTs, so he has one on the field right now. It's going to provide more backbone, more structure and rigidity to that Protoss force.
And BabyKnight, after that early expand that he decided to do, the 2-gate expand, he has not done any such thing after the fact. So he's been stuck on 2 base for quite a while, and his moment for kind of that strong 6-gate robo push is kind of past, as CatZ is moving into 4-base mode now. And once he gets that up, and any semblance of production from those facilities, he is going to be able to pull ahead, way ahead in supply. Up until about 2 minutes ago, CatZ was actually behind in supply, and at the very least, you want to maintain a 10% advantage in supply as a Zerg player due to the cost effectiveness of your units. At least, yeah. So, and CatZ just was not doing that.
The thing though is infestors actually are worth a lot more in supply than they actually are. They're really, really good. But anyways, we do have a big engagement here. CatZ, loses an infestor, but he gets a fungal off, but that isn't really going to mean anything because the entire idea here for BabyKnight to attack at this location is purely for defense. He wants to keep this Nexus alive. He gets another great force field here and a concave. He's going to destroy all these roaches. BabyKnight has come out majorly ahead, but he needs to get that Nexus down. He's still on 2 base, so he's not quite as far ahead as you might think, but as soon as he gets that Nexus down to the 3rd, man, he's going to be looking really good.
Yeah, certainly, and he's floating enough resources that I think he could stand to at least take the gamble, knock down the destructible rocks, and try and double expand at this point, and slap down about 3 or 4 more gateways at the same time. Needs to burn through those resources a little bit. Looks like he's warping in some Templar now. Let's actually see if those go straight to Archons or if that's going to be used for some other purpose.
Well, he doesn't have Storm researching, so I'd assume he's just going to make him into Archons.
Unless he just wants feedback machines or something like that, too.
That's kind of true, too. Yeah, he can get the Templar out just for purely the feedback machine. Interesting. The Dark Templar here is going to run into that Spine Spore wall, immediately destroyed. And BabyKnight here wisely throwing up that gateway wall at the lower end of his ramp so he'll be able to protect himself from Zerglings that may end up trying to run by. And BabyKnight now making his presence known in the middle of the map with a significant force. He is on 3 base, or soon to be on 3 base, so he's actually not far behind at all. I would consider both players pretty even at this point.
Yeah, I would as well. And it looks like, though, that CatZ is going to be able to, if he can make another successful attack, though, or if he can make a successful attack, should be in a pretty good position because BabyKnight, well, has gone through some of his resources, but still wasn't producing the amount of units required to engage straight up. And I think that CatZ has a pretty good opening here in a second, especially if he maxes on this Roach and Faster combination to be able to crash through that army and then reproduce fast enough before BabyKnight can replenish his own army.
And CatZ is going to want to make something happen before BabyKnight gets his Storm and his Charge upgrade ready to go.
Yeah.
Charge lots are amazingly good against Infestors.
Yes.
They can run in there. Infestors can't really fungal all of them down. We do have a pack of Infestors going under the ground here. An Observer is nearby, and oh no, that's horrible for CatZ.
Wow.
He loses all of his Infestors, and now BabyKnight, despite the fact that his Charge and his Templar upgrade isn't quite ready yet, he may have an opening to make an attack happen.
Okay, so here we go. This is
Maybe
really
has
interesting. BabyKnight, he's going to push out, and I agree with you. I think he should at least walk in and try and deny some creep tumors, but at the same time, CatZ finds his way
warping
through
in Zealots.
No, he's not cutting off that attack path whatsoever, and a good portion of these Zerglings are going to go down. Looks like he will deal with the Photon Cannon first. BabyKnight is not coming back, though. He is just pushing ahead and trying to deny creep tumors in the middle of the map. He is going to go for the counterattack. There's the Infestors. A couple of nice feedbacks go down, but a nice fungal growth actually caught a lot of units in position. Storm goes down as well, and we have a big 2-front engagement. More feedbacks. Those are quite good out of Navi BabyKnight so far.
Yeah, BabyKnight is doing a great job with his feedback right now. Keep in mind, there are still Zerglings inside his natural expansion wrecking havoc. An Archon has been mind-controlled along with the Immortal. The 2 most expensive units in this army have turned traitorous, and they are killing off the Stalkers, and CatZ may have a chance to break this attack back as well as continue to do damage inside the base of BabyKnight. Oh, but CatZ runs out of forces. His Infestors are running out of energy, and the Stalkers are blinking forward, demolishing all the drones. The Archon has reverted back to control of its masters as well as the Immortal, and it looks like BabyKnight is going to kill off the Gold Hatchery. A brilliant play. However, he took a lot of damage inside his main and his natural, so it's hard to tell who's ahead right now.
Yeah, he certainly did. And CatZ is only on, well, see, it looks like 1.5 mining bases for the time being. BabyKnight, though, lost a lot of workers. Taking a look at the workers killed.
Oh my God.
He lost 47. Taking a look at the income tab. Wow, he's actually way down right now. And he's trying to reproduce as fast as he can. I like the inclusion of a couple of Dark Templar in this composition as well, in case CatZ decides to get a little frisky and move maybe a little bit before he should. But BabyKnight certainly has his work cut out for him. He's got to be triple producing probes. He is, but he doesn't have much money to go around.
Yeah, right now he's a little bit of a kind of seems like a homeless person right now, suffering or basically surviving off of beggar's change. He needs to reproduce his economy and get that going right now. He is making an attack right now, which I kind of like because he's in this position where I don't know if he can play a macro game against CatZ despite killing off his gold hatchery. We do have a mind control neuroparasite going off once again on the Immortal and the Archon. Somebody needs to fire them from the job. They've been trading sides left and right this entire game, finally reverting back to control, but BabyKnight can't be too happy about that, and he's going to lose the majority of his forces engaging here on the creep. The roaches have destroyed that traitorous Immortal. They are going to kill off the Archon as well. There is a Dark Templar, like you said, CatZ, killing off forces in the background, but I don't know, that DT isn't going to be able to do much to justify the army loss.
Yeah, but I think at the very least he had to kill this hatchery. I don't think there was any way he could have considered that engagement a win for him unless that hatchery went down. Look at how slow he's reproducing his forces. Back at that economic tab, still way down. Even though he's on 43 workers, they're just kind of transferring around and don't really know where they're going. So here we go. Now finally we see 8 more moving back over to the natural. So, okay, maybe he's going to get some sort of semblance of mining going on soon, but right now all he has is 6 Zealots and 2 High Templar against 13 Infestors, 5 Roaches, and a few Zerglings as well. So,
yeah, I mean, BabyKnight, that entire attack was just designed to allow him to probe up safely, and he accomplished that mission, but I don't think he wanted to lose his entire army with that attack, and that's what happened. So it's a very difficult situation for him right now. He should be. Oh no! A fungal goes down over the probes. The probes have dropped down to red HP. Their shields have all been depleted as well. Those probes are very close to dying, but they survived that battle just barely. And my goodness, look at how many infestors there are in the middle of the map. CatZ showing the strength of the mighty, mighty infestor. I think that CatZ is in a great position right now, and it's going to be tough for BabyKnight to get back in.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I mean, BabyKnight just can't support the unit production he needs. He can effectively use about 4 of his gateways right now with the economic rate that he's at, and he needs to be utilizing all 8 or 9 that he has up. There's no question about it, and he simply can't do so. Looks like CatZ is going to move in and try and attack. Storm goes down, hits more of his own units than anything else, but that's okay. Did its job, warded away the Zerglings for a long period of time, but here comes the meat of the attack. CatZ moving up with 15 infestors on top of it. Couple of storms going down. A lot of these infestors are going to die. The Archon actually moves up as well and does quite a bit of damage.
No way. BabyKnight actually pushing CatZ back. However, in the background, what is CatZ producing? He's only making 1 roach right now. CatZ, a huge attack failure right there. Ends up losing almost all of his infestors, and BabyKnight get some breathing room. Oh no, but there's some more roaches coming out, so maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. In the back of my head, I was thinking there's no way CatZ is going to lose this, and he has more roaches coming out right now.
Still, though,
this may be it for BabyKnight.
I agree, and still, though,
oh no, there's the other fungal follow-up fungal kills those probes.
BabyKnight did as well as I think we could have expected, though, given the engagements that he had. Looks like he's going to push for a little bit of a base trade right now. The Zealots making their way down to the bottom right-hand side, but I mean, BabyKnight did a great job in that engagement. Don't get me wrong. Even though there were still units left over for CatZ, that was about as good as he could have expected. He is finally going to take down this hatchery, but he has a little bit more work to do. A few more infestors are out, and those are eventually going to go down, I suppose. And it looks like they're going to come back and try and get a couple of fungal growths. But CatZ is now dictating the pace of this game. He's got units running across the map.
And if we just look back at the beginning of this game, I think the turning point where BabyKnight lost it is when he did not warp in a Zealot to prevent the Zerglings from running into his main. And he hesitated way too much in that attack. And rather than attacking right away, he just kind of hesitated with his forces in the middle. And look, all his army is going to go down here. That should be the white flag raising up now out of the dust. BabyKnight should probably surrender at this point.
Yeah, I think
but
he will soon.
If we look back at that game, really, the turning point was when he allowed those Zerglings to run inside.
Yep, certainly. I mean, he lost, what, 47 workers or something like that?
All he needed to do was just warp in a single Zealot to block off the ramp, and then warp in Zealots in the natural, and he would have been fine. And he could have traded and come out probably on top.
And looks like CatZ is just gearing up for the final push. Decides that this is the time he's going to make his way in against these photon cannons. Photon cannons are certainly getting their damage in, but these infestors are going to come around the back and deny all the rest of the mining. There's nothing these poor probes can do about it. Too many roaches here. The gateways are going to fall, and as soon as that falls, CatZ is going to be able to stream units in. And looks like he is actually going to back up for the time being. A bunch of infested Terrans get dropped down.
Yeah, using Storm on Infested Terran, not the most cost-efficient use, because of course Infested Terrans have an expired lifetime. They will eventually go down anyways, but it's kind of a survival, do-or-die situation here. what else are you going to storm? So BabyKnight here certainly, you know, deserves credit for sticking it in here and trying to survive. I would be blasted away. I would just be thrown back in my chair if he wins this game. He is going to call the GG well played here, apparently having a little bit of lag as well. We're not going to say anything about that. Maybe they are experiencing a lot of lag.
Yep, it's very possible.
It's very possible. They are playing cross-region, I believe. So
yeah, I believe BabyKnight's going to be playing. I don't know if he lives in Denmark still, but he is from Denmark, so I assume that's where he's going to be playing from.
Do you hear those alarms going off?
Yeah,
outside?
sorry, we have the sirens of San Francisco going on outside, but that is it for game number 1. Guys, we're going to move into game number 2 of this best of 3 in just a second.